Village Board Committee of the Whole for February 24, 2025. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Present.
Balmes.
Present.
Thorstensen.
Here.
Woodside.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
Garner. 5 present.
All right,
1
we'll
absent.
stand together for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome, everybody. One of my favorite meetings of the year, to hear from what we fondly call our big three, right? Lake County, Illinois Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Big Three report on tourism, business developments, and upcoming season operations, led by Maureen Reedy, President, Visit Lake County. Maureen, you're starting off this fond, great group that's going to present, yes? Do you want more than that?
I want an extended introduction. Okay, good evening, everyone. As the mayor said, I think this is, for us, it's one of the fun meetings of the year, too, because it's just, we always have so much to report. There's so much happening, and we really appreciate and value our partnership with the Village of Gurnee and with our strong Big Three here. And as you'll see from our presentations, you know, there's so many opportunities that we collaborate. There's so much success in what we do. And I think you'll be excited to hear about some of the things happening this year. So I'll start out, and then I'll introduce, we'll have Six Flags, Gurnee Mills, and Great Wolf Lodge. So let's see where oh, perfect. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our website and digital marketing and our seasonal marketing campaigns. And right now we're finishing up February Flavor Festival. So we'll talk a little bit about that and the group business side, and then visitor spending. So you're all familiar with our organization, but just to kind of reiterate what our missions and goals are, it's really about boosting the economy, the tourism economy here in Gurnee and in Lake County. We want to really amplify the image of Gurnee as a tourism destination and inspire visitors and residents to explore Gurnee and explore all of Lake County, and of course support and showcase the businesses here in Gurnee. Our board of directors, just to again demonstrate the representative we have here from the Village of Gurnee. We've got Randy, of course, with Gurnee Mills, and John with Six Flags, and Cheryl Ross is our past board chair. So those three are all officers. And then Carissa Casbon, I don't think Carissa, is she here? She was going to try and be with us. So Carissa Casbon from the Lake County Board is on our board as well. And then, of course, Bree from Great Wolf Lodge. So great representation from the Village of Gurnee. And I always like to mention that we are accredited. We go through our Destinations International, that's our international organization, and go through very rigid standards to be accredited every 4 years. And we just got our reaccreditation again last year. So you can be assured that we're maintaining very professional standards in everything we do. And of course, many of you were at our 40th anniversary celebration, which was last September, and here we are, starting our 41st year. As you know, we've really tried to work on expanding our footprint as an organization and really grow our reach and our community engagement, community relations. And this past year, we were really excited to add 2 smaller communities. Most of the larger communities across Lake County are part of our organization, but we were really thrilled to have North Chicago and Wakanda both come in as partners this past year. So we've got 16 communities plus Lake County as investing partners in our organization. And now Lake County is actually the largest investor in Lake County because they put us into their budget, their general budget, in addition to receiving the hotel tax collected in the unincorporated areas. So now they've become our largest investors. So that's really great news for all of us. And we see some opportunities for some other smaller communities who are very interested in being part of our organization as well. So we're representing all of Lake County, but we appreciate the investment that our community's partners make because we have to match our state grant. So we're always requiring the local match, and then we also have our business partners as well as our community partners that help us match that grant. So let me talk a little bit about some of our marketing highlights, to start with our website, which we redid this year. So we refreshed it and have tried to really make it just a little easier to navigate for people, and really had to think about the mobile end of the website, which actually about 80% of those that go to our website are looking at the mobile version. But did some really nice upgrades to our website, and went back and looked at how many events we had in Gurnee last year, which we promoted, 145. A lot of events in Gurnee that were promoted on our website. And those are done through digital posts. You know, it's Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and YouTube and all of those kinds of social media platforms we're using. So there were 390 digital posts about Gurnee events and activities last year, and 152 blogs that talked about Gurnee events and activities. And we write a couple blogs a week too about top events and then other things, just all kinds of crazy things that people are interested in reading about. But I wanted to show you some examples of some of the blogs there of not only promoting the big three here in Gurnee, but also some of the smaller partners. You've got Gurnee Days there, and you've got Extreme Flight Simulation there, and Launch, and Top Shelf, and so Pips Meadery. So, you know, in addition to everything we're doing to really drive visitors here for the big attractions, that it's nice for people to also discover some of the other attractions as well. So then moving on to our marketing campaigns, we leverage our dollars by really focusing on seasonal campaigns. And one of our favorites really is Spooks and Spirits fall campaign, anchored, of course, by Fright Fest. And then there's a lot of other fall activities throughout Lake County. But you've seen this branding before, and I think we've really seeded this now as kind of the look and feel for fall. Enjoy a month of frights and delights in Lake County. So doing a lot with that, really promoting not only the fall activities, but spirits, because there's a libation trail component to this as well. And we were really excited that our website page views were up last October 63%. And that people are going to 4 different pages, and that's just an indication of the interest. They're looking for lots of different things to do throughout Lake County and looking at several different pages. Then if you look at our holiday campaign, then people were looking at 5 pages, so really interested in holiday events as well. Again, a really strong December for us, and Gurnee was one of the 4 co-op partners in our holiday campaign, and you'll see kind of the branding for that and the advertising. This is a print ad. We do print and radio and TV and digital marketing and sometimes outdoor boards too. And of course, that holiday train, man, that thing is so popular. It's just amazing the draw that is. And so we had a guide then to holiday events in Gurnee. We built out a whole landing page just for Gurnee events, and boy, that holiday train, you just can't beat that. So then on to Flavor Festival. So it's still going on. You can still go out. A couple more days left. So we've expanded this event from the days of just restaurant week, it was 10 days, to now a full month. We found that when working with our restaurants, it just made sense to kind of expand it. February is a quieter time period, and so they were happy to, you know, have an opportunity then to really promote, you know, what they're doing the whole month of February. And we're really trying to showcase unique restaurants, a lot of independent restaurants, really encouraging residents to kind of move throughout the county and try something new. So sip, savor, and celebrate, a month-long celebration. So that's still going on, and a couple more days here, but we love working with Mike Kaplan. Of course, you all know Mike Kaplan, our favorite meteorologist and foodie and Gurnee resident. He just loves going out for us and doing these Facebook Lives, and he was at Destino's and Primo. He's going to Backyard Steak Pit, too. I think he's doing that. So he just loves to get out there and talk about the restaurants and interview the managers and the chefs. And I'm sure you've seen these. His reach is just phenomenal. So it's great to see. It's a wonderful partnership for us. It's great exposure for our restaurants. They love hosting them. So we enjoy working with Mike, and he comes back every year. He did 13 restaurants for us this year. We use other influencers in addition to Mike, but you know, you just can't beat what Mike does. So we were really pleased with the participation again this year. Always looking for more restaurants. There's a couple more in Gurnee we'd love to have next year. It's representing, as you can see, 29 communities all throughout Lake County. And I think then when people see that and go, oh my gosh, wow, it's like over 100 places I could go to and I can check in and I can win these prizes. It just really kind of elevates the whole program when we have a lot of restaurants and Libation Trail partners. So great promotion for us this month. Let's see if this plays, Austin. So I'm going to show you just the video here.
It's time to sip, savor, and celebrate in Lake County, Illinois. Head out and enjoy over 100 restaurants, breweries, wineries, and distilleries. It's the Lake County Flavor Festival, a mouth-watering month of memorable meals, craft beverages, and exciting events. Venture out of your comfort zone this February and try something new. New flavors, new places, new experiences. For all the details, sink your teeth into visitlakecounty.org.
There you go. So it gives you kind of an idea of the branding then. Do I click through there? There we go. Thank you. So on to summer next up. So we're already starting to work on the summer campaign, and of course we have so much to promote here in Gurnee in the summer. So really building out this campaign every year. This is our biggest media spend of the year with the TV and radio, and you'll see the billboards, just a lot of digital marketing as well. And really a wonderful campaign promoting road trips to Lake County, weekend getaways. Primary market is Chicago and southern central Wisconsin area. Those are our sweet spots. We're already starting to work on our visitor's guide. Last year we redid this and made it more of a magazine style piece with more editorial. And we're gonna continue to use that format this year. Had a lot of great comments about that, really trying to inspire people to think about spending a couple of days here as well. So it's chock full of information on activities and things, you know, other things to do throughout Lake County. So this gives you kind of an idea of what last year's campaign would be. And we'll have a robust campaign again this year. Also wanted to mention Enjoy Illinois. This is the Illinois Office of Tourism, kind of our umbrella organization. They just put out their spring-summer travel guide, so I was paging through it, and really happy to see the promotion there for Six Flags and the new roller coaster ride there, and Great Wolf Lodge is also mentioned. So this is a full page then that has the picture with Six Flags, and on the left there is the cover, and I just took a screenshot of it because it's actually not out yet. It's coming out March 1st. So you are the first to see it, but really nice to see that exposure on a statewide level with the Illinois Office of Tourism. They do a fall-winter guide, and then they do a spring-summer guide. So, and of course, we'll have a lot of attractions that'll be highlighted on their website, enjoyillinois.com, as well. Then, group business. This is another important sector that we really focus on. And sometimes people are very surprised. They don't know that we have to actually actively recruit a lot of the tournaments, meetings, tours, reunion groups that are coming to Lake County. We actually have a sales team of 3 that is going to a lot of different shows, trade shows throughout the country, and one-on-one appointments with clients, encouraging them to bring their business to Lake County and then trying to find a home for it. So this year, I was looking back, and we had 32 business opportunities or referrals for Gurnee venues, 19 groups that came to Gurnee. And one in particular I wanted to mention was the Summer Classic. This is a boys and girls basketball tournament. So it was actually held in venues in Libertyville Sports Complex and the Waukegan Fieldhouse. But they stay all over, and so we had a lot of rooms here in Gurnee as well. So even if you don't have a sports venue here, you're certainly the recipient of a lot of that housing, because obviously groups love to stay here. There's so much to do. Interestingly enough, we were able to use ARPA funds. So through Lake County, we got $250,000 over the course of, we used it over about 2.5 years. for what we'd call business incentive programs so that we could go after some bigger groups to bring them to Lake County, especially to support the hotels, restaurants, and other attractions coming out of COVID. So it was a really great program. We depleted all the money. Would love to have some more because it allows you to go after some bigger groups, especially sports groups that are looking for some dollars to help defray their costs, particularly paying for venues. But it brings a lot of hotel rooms and brings a lot of people here. There's a big spend with it. So great program. You got a picture there with Teresa and Kim that were at Connect show that was actually in Milwaukee last year. It moves around the country. They had one-on-one appointments about with different, maybe 30 different clients. Each of them had sports tournament clients and other corporate meeting planners too as well. So we try to get around the country to those shows that are appropriate for us to look for business that we can handle here in Lake County. Then finally, just wanted to leave you with a couple of the economic impact numbers. I know you've heard me say this before because I think my board's got it down perfectly, but how much is the visitor spending in Lake County? In 2023, it was almost $2 billion. $2 billion in visitor spending in Lake County. That's direct spending on accommodations and food and attractions and retail and transportation. But if you drill down, I took a look at what the numbers were for Gurnee, and this is we use a platform called Zartico. It specializes in tourism destinations, and we have 300 different points of interest that the stats are based on. So from that data, then, we looked at the visitor spending by category here in Gurnee from last year. And a visitor is defined as a device that's more than 50 miles from their home or work location. So 50 miles is a long way. That's almost to Milwaukee area or way into Chicago. But it's kind of interesting to see where visitors were spending there in the different categories, with attractions being first, then food, then accommodations, retail, and then gas. But the next chart here gives you actual spending. And I know it's hard to see that there, but accommodation spending was almost $300. This is just average spending per visitor that was from over 50 miles away. So you've got accommodations, and then you've got, what is that, 187, I think, for attractions, and then retail is 164. And then outdoor recreation would be a lot like golf, which is, I thought that number was maybe a little surprisingly high. And then transportation. And then I also looked at nightlife, so that would be your more bars, those kinds of things that are in that particular category for credit card spending. Nightlife 81, and then food was 65. So again, this data is collected based on credit card spend, but really significant numbers. Those are really good numbers for visitor spending here in Gurnee. So I think you have to feel good about the economic impact of when visitors are coming here. So great numbers. Again, we look at the overall spend in Lake County, which was almost $2 billion. So that puts us in the top 3 counties in the state for visitor spend. So then finally, I'm going to just leave you with our appreciation. Thank you so much for the investment that you've made. You've been a long-standing partner with us, probably going back close to 40 years with us, and we value the partnership. We appreciate the fact that we've got the partnership with you, and also the strong relationship that we have with the Big Three and other partners here in Gurnee as well. But just a really great established relationship with our 3 key partners here. So we're going to take them in order then with Six Flags, and then Gurnee Mills, and then we'll end with Great Wolf Lodge. So with that, I will turn it over to John. And there's your clicker.
Thank you, Maureen. It was we had a really good year in 2024. So it really generally started with Sky Striker, first new piece of capital, marketable capital that we had introduced in 5 years. And you started to get the impression that the market was re-engaging, right? That there was a lot of inquiries as early as late January, February of last year, what about the new ride? What did I hear? What are you opening? When is opening day? And they were earlier than we had experienced in a number of years. It just felt like there was that enthusiasm building very early. We hit an all-time attendance low in the history of the park, approaching 50 years in 2022. A lot of different reasons contributed to that, but started to come out of it a little bit more in 23 and then more in 24 and now poised to make another move in 25. Sky Striker, a giant pendulum ride, opened mid-June, 180,000 riders. From that point on, I was one of those, and it didn't go well. It did not go well. It got the best of me. I always try everything in the park, and I say at least once, and usually that's in jest. This one was legit. That was one and done, no more. I was anticipating riding with media, and it was just not happening. But 180,000 of our guests thoroughly enjoyed themselves. Maybe a few didn't, I don't know. But it was a really nice addition to the park. I think it looks great where it's at, and we're going to have it forever. A few other things in 24. The Windy City Sports Bar. It was a renovated facility in Southwest Territory. I did better there than I did on Sky Striker. We opened that about a week later than Sky Striker, on the downside of June, and very proudly, it took until the second to last week of Fright Fest, of our operating season, but it generated $1 million in revenue. It's a benchmark for our food and beverage facilities. Some far exceed that, but that one, to do it in that short amount of time, guests reacted very favorably to it very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little while for guests to see the new venues or really engage with the menu and the products. That one was quick. And so a lot of expectations for that one moving into this year. Some of our other things in the guest experience really took place during Fright Fest. 500 houses, 2 of them were all new. We went back to some branded experiences in the haunted houses. It was very effective. I believe it was good to help us market Fright Fest. It was a very mature product now. But to engage with the Saw franchise, Stranger Things, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very favorable response from the guests. I believe it drove attendance. Strong evidence to support that, and sales of the haunted houses were definitely up. Another thing that we introduced to Fright Fest was our chaperone policy. I think most folks well aware of that. Most folks are well aware of that on this side of the room. But it really delivered the intent of what it was meant to do, the spirit of that. The response was generally very positive from the public. It was a little clunky at times, kind of getting in on some of those big Saturdays of Fright Fest, but the awareness continued to grow of the policy, and there was adherence to it, and we worked through it. And we're looking forward to, I talked a little bit about potentially having that come into the regular season this year, but we're definitely planning to activate again, at least at Fright Fest. So, in total, we were up to attendance revenue targets for the year, significantly up to 2023. We were in the top 3 in attendance. We had the highest attendance mark of all the legacy Six Flags parks up until when we closed. Then a couple of them passed us as they carried on their season through their holiday events. But it's a rare instance. Normally Magic Mountain with their extended, in Southern California with their extended calendar, New Jersey also extends on the front and back end of their calendar, including still running Holiday in the Park. They are usually way out in front of us for attendance, but not last year. We had them both through the first weekend of November, and then they both just passed us during their holiday run. Same thing, revenue, top 3 for the Legacy 6. There's a question that came up, Mayor, about how the park is doing in general by comparison. Very proud that we hold those high standards and finish in the top 3 among the Legacy Six Flags parks. We merged with Cedar Fair Group, which is the biggest activity of 2024 for the organization. And we finished the year with the highest margin performance of all the domestic parks, all 42 domestic parks in the new portfolio. So good good performance overall amongst the Legacy 6 parks, good performance amongst the new parks in the larger portfolio. So very proud of that. We've got one of the biggest and the best right here in Gurnee, and that remains true despite the organization doubling in size. They're a good group, and we're navigating the merger well, and I think it will have just nothing but positive impacts on the park moving forward into '25 and beyond. And we got a little new toy coming in 2025 too. That's always good for everybody. It's a dive coaster. It is a B&M roller coaster. B&M builds what essentially are the Cadillac of roller coasters. They're the best. They built Batman. It was what put them on the map. Their first roller coaster was built here in Gurnee, and Iron Wolf. They've since built 3 others at the park: Superman, X-Flight, and Raging Bull, of course. I got to forget Raging Bull, the biggest and the best. So this is a product of theirs known as a dive coaster. I'm going to show you why it's called a dive coaster in just a second here. But if you've driven past, I was talking to Pat about this before the meeting, if you've driven past the park in any direction, from most distances, you see this thing coming up right in the middle of the park. It's existing in a space where it was occupied by this battle boat ride, but you're going to come out of Hometown Square and this is going to fill the sky, top to bottom, left to right, up to 180 feet tall. It's our first roller coaster in 6 years, but I had a curious question from a reporter from the Tribune had asked, but how long has it been since you've done something of this scope? And I said, that's valid. We've introduced a lot of roller coasters, a lot of new rides in that time frame, but this really feels like this is the biggest one since Goliath in 2014. So we're talking 11 years since a ride of this size and scope. It's a people mover, is what we call in the industry, so a lot of good throughput. I think it's going to be really popular with our guests, and I'll give you a look at it next. It's the hardware now on that skyline, just surrounded by so many. You see Batman in the background, you pass X-Flight on the way. And this is why it's called a dive coaster. They take you to the top, and we're going to hang you there for just a couple seconds. Let you think about it.
No way. No, that's great.
And then let you go.
See John at the front of the line.
Very unique configuration of the cars. 7 across. It's like a small bleacher, just flying along a roller coaster. 3 rows of those 7 seats. A little longer than X-Flight, not as long as Raging Bull, but it's a good length of ride. 5 inversions, which is the most B&M has ever produced on a dive coaster of this size, of this nature. And the steepest dive. It's beyond inverted. It's 96 degrees. So you go back through and you see that lift and drop is some of the first elements that we've put up and gone vertically on the ride, and you see it. It's intimidating. The colors are bright and beautiful, and I just get that when we saw the enthusiasm picking up about this time last year, it's off the charts by comparison this year. We see it in some early key performance indicators, season pass sales, group sales, the media engagement, all of it. We see it now. So I think this journey back from where we had dropped to in 2022 is just going to come full circle at this point in 25. Very confident of that. Back one. There we go. It is the very wise Homer Simpson that had said to his family, we're at a theme park. They're not going to let us leave while we still have a dime in our pockets. So yeah, we're going to have an exit shop, right? So you're going to ride that ride, and you have to go through the shop on your way off the ride. So very cool. It's going to be heavily themed to the ride itself. A lot of ride-specific merchandise in there, which is really exciting with the new group. A lot more buying power with this with the Cedar Fair group. So our opportunity to get some shirts specific to the park, specific to our local rides. This ride in particular, the new one. So I think it's going to enhance our retail opportunities this year and moving forward. Food and beverage enhancements, new festivals. I mentioned some interior renovations to some of those, 3 of our big restaurants. We hired an executive chef. So very unique. You wouldn't think about a chef working at a theme park, chicken strips, pizza, things like that. Very committed to upping our food and beverage game. And this chef is going to help us do that. He comes to us from one of the other, our sister park, new sister park, from the Cedar Fair, Valley Fair up in Minneapolis. He's been doing it up there for a couple of years and really excited for what he can bring to help elevate that food and beverage experience. It's been critical. When going through the years where we didn't have the new roller coasters and rides, food and beverage was bringing people to the park. Oktoberfest, if you've ever experienced that there, it's just been phenomenal to see the response to that in the middle of Fright Fest, which is already a spectacular event and attendance driver for us. So, new executive chef at the old theme park. How about that? Front gate. Took a while to get there last year, painfully long renovation process, but we got it open. The spirit of it is in, first and foremost, security and safety. It is getting the full perimeter of our front gate behind the guest initial screening. So first thing that happens if they come to the park through the parking lot is that they are screened at that point of the new perimeter. Then they can go in to purchase a ticket, to stop at guest relations, to go in ultimately to the park and enjoy their day. But that's the first. So the entire perimeter is secure now before anything else happens. They're going through metal detection and screening. We're carrying on with that this year and doing the next layer, which will be ticket taking. There's a rendering of it down there. It'll be the next part of the entry experience. Beyond that, we took out what was the former ticket taking layer and has just opened up Carousel Plaza. So it leaves us really your entry experience, the beauty of the double-decker carousel and the reflection pond, but then a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things. So we're talking through what that might look like moving forward, but really stepping up the game at the entrance to the park. And before I move on and wrap up, take advantage of the opportunity to express appreciation for the relationship with the village, with our first responders, for sure. Even knowing expanding to the larger portfolio, I see even more so that a lot of the parks just don't enjoy this type of relationship with their local government. And it helps us do what we need to do from a business standpoint. And it helps make us viable for adding things and investing in the property, to adding the roller coasters, investing in landscaping and food and beverage and everything we're doing because of that relationship. You have no idea what that means to us as a business. So again, my appreciation for the partnership with Great Wolf Lodge and with Gurnee Mills and of course Maureen. We went through a couple of difficult years where our CEO wasn't a big believer in media, curious strategy. And we saw it impact with the lowest attendance in the history of the park. So I think he learned a little something, but I'm not positive. So Maureen and team helped really supplement where there was a gap there in our media spend. Always been great partners to the park and putting us first and foremost, whenever possible, they're everything through the county locally. So I'm a big believer in the team's professionalism and everything that they do. I touched on it a minute ago, but this year will be spectacular. We're going to bring them back for the roller coaster, and we're going to get them to engage with the park experience, which we're stepping up. Landscaping, we just hired a new landscaping supervisor. Flowers, it's going to be beautiful. Food and beverage, all about the guest experience. So they're going to come see the roller coaster, maybe ride, maybe not, but the park experience is going to get them, and we're going to set it up for a beautiful 50th anniversary. Just had our first meeting of the 50th anniversary committee this morning, actually. A lot of enthusiastic folks. I had to kind of pare down how many could be in there because everybody's got their ideas for what's nostalgic and what they want to see out of the 50th anniversary. But I look forward to conversations and partnering about what you might like to see from there as well, and it's going to be a spectacular season. So we're coming back and just know where everything seems to be pointing up. So. And we're taking questions, or at the end we'll take questions. I've just been informed. I'm going to turn it over to my counterpart and good friend from Gurnee Mills, Randy Ubertowski.
Thanks, John.
Good evening. So I'm going to start by echoing what John was saying about the village of Gurnee, the first responders, the building department, city administration, just best in class. And of all the years I've been in this industry, I've never had a partner, a civic partner that is works side by side with us to get things done. And I know you're just as passionate about not only the businesses, but also the residents and the visitors that come here. So I want to start that from the beginning. So the Gurnee Mills, we had another busy and successful year. Did I go too far? Okay. Capital projects, I like to roll through these real quick. These are some of our bigger projects, and the reason being is just goes to show you some of the investment that Simon continues to make in the property. We did a lot of CCTV upgrades last year, which brought us well over 100 camera views now throughout the property. Placing concrete, central plant chiller. It's amazing how expensive a chiller system is, but those are important and ultimately saves us in energy. New canine and canine vehicle, security trike, which is really cool, and it's fun to ride in the property, but they don't let me do it very often. Replaced two large LED format boards in the mall, and one of these days I'm going to be able to watch a movie or something on one of those. I think it'd be awesome. Parking lot light nodes, so we're able to control each individual light fixture in the parking lot and adjust accordingly, and we can make schedules that are energy saving, the brightest when we need it, and to dim down when we don't need it. In addition to soft seating recovery and hardwood flooring, just the touch and feel of the customer. 2025, we're doing more parking lot paving and restoration, more chiller upgrades, some EMS upgrades, looking at replacing bollards at our entryways, another trike, so now we'll have two. Hardwood floor restoration and some soft seating, and I'm sure more will be added. So again, very all important, some of it not as sexy, but important things. So these are all the new retailers we added in 2024. And one thing we're very proud of, this year, we ended the year with only, you could count on one hand how many vacant spaces we had in the building. And if you walk through right now, you'll find the same. And chances are, any of those vacancies you might see and count on one hand, we've already got a replacement for. So one thing that's really been exciting in the last couple of years and is the demand that we have in the shopping center. Obviously, Sears Grand went upside down and closed up. Simon was able to convert that one retailer that was underperforming to two and potentially a third very exciting new retailers with Round One and Hobby Lobby in there. Round One is just really exciting what it brings with the entertainment concept to the center with bowling and arcade games and etc. Another example of flipping a former Anchor store, Reclectic, is now in the old former Saks Off Fifth space. And that's a really exciting new retailer that's growing by leaps and bounds. And then coming in 2025, we have Boot Barn under construction in the former Bed Bath & Beyond building. Again, a retailer that was underperforming, went under, and Simon was able to bring in two new retailers to take that are very exciting new retailers to bring in more traffic and revenue. And then Primark also under construction along with Boot Barn. That's going to take a while. It's a long build out, but when they're done, I've seen a couple of the stores in some of our sister centers. They have everything you need. So it's a great place. So that's some of our new retail. Some of the events. Kelsey put this slide together for me. So Obviously, we got to cover some of the exciting events. We had the 25th Annual First Responders Expo last May, and then we're doing it again this year, also bringing in Tunnels to Towers 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit, which is really cool if you haven't checked it out. And then also 2024, we did a Sheen pop-up, which was very successful, and then again, that flipped into, because that was successful, that flipped into the Reclectic store coming in and taking it on a multi-year lease. October, we did our Boo Bash, which we have trick-or-treaters of all ages throughout the shopping center. It's never a big day to shop for our retailers, but those couple of hours where we have the trick-or-treaters, that's all about community, and frankly, that's my favorite day of the year at the shopping center, is to see all the kids and the families trick-or-treating. And of course, Santa's Arrival Parade, and we do that every year with Gurnee Police helping us out, bringing Santa through the shopping center. And then annual Rods for Remembrance, May 18th of 2025, we're going to be doing. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Brianna. I'm the general manager at Great Wolf Lodge. I'm here with Jeanette. She's our director of sales and marketing. I would like to start off like Randy did. I joined this Illinois PAC about 2 years ago, and everybody has been such welcoming since joining, welcoming, opening their home, and different questions when I call Maureen at all hours of the day of different things. And truly thank you, and especially for the first responders that come to the lodge quite often. Your team is so hospitable from the moment that they arrive to the moment that they leave. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what's going on at Great Wolf Lodge, some fun things. So we're always looking to see what our next investment is, big lodge, big brand. Last year we invested $4 million in our capital, and I have some fun pictures to show you things that we've been able to accomplish. First thing up there is when we purchased the lodge in 2016 and reopened our doors in 2018, there was some different capital investments that aren't things that people really kind of talk about, so we put some things up there, but we were able to do majority of our roof replacement last year, and we're going to finish that this year as well. We also received a new truck for our building, a new towel folder for our laundry facility, a new iron for our laundry facility, new water park flooring around our entire water park, really helped the overall aesthetics and appearance. And then we opened some food and beverage outlets. So inside our water park, we were able to open what we call Timbers Tacos. So we have one formal restaurant in our water park that does about $4 million annually for us. Timbers helped attribute, not even cannibalize, pull an additional $1 million in sales for us. This is a concept that really does well with our local clientele as well. Then we look on to next year, or this year, and what's to come is our rooftop units, our HVAC units, our original to Key Lime Cove. We're replacing all 19 of them, which we're really excited for. It's just gonna help all the AC and the heat in the building. That project alone is over $2 million. We're gonna finish the roof replacement. From sand filters to Defender filters. Sand filters are what filters the water in for our water park. We are switching the two that we have over to Defender filters, which is actually going to help the quality of the water. We're going to finish asphalting our parking lot as well. And then we have a bunch of new kitchen upgrades that we're doing, new ovens, new walk-in coolers. We also opened a new bar this month called Outpost. It is down where our adventure park is. We have that open on the weekends right now. And then during busy times like spring break and winter break, we'll open it for the entire duration of the week. The last but not least, the most important thing, and the one thing I'm very excited about, is our room upgrades. So when you stay at hotels, some hotels are switching from carpet to what we call LVT flooring, and we will be one of them. We opened all of our new properties with this LVT flooring. So that's going to happen this year for us. In addition, we are getting new mattresses and box springs for all 414 rooms. We're getting new credenzas that hold the TV and new end tables. With that being said, the whole room will look and feel brand new to our guests. The only thing that won't be upgraded is actually the pull-out couches, and that's slated for next year. Talk about our marketing. Obviously, we were a national account, And I wanted to share, hopefully you guys have seen this, but in 2023, we started the notion of the Great Wolves. And what that means is this notion of families coming together to enjoy and to bring joy to families. And so we launched this campaign of these Great Wolves heading to school, heading to churches, picking up families, and these families actually riding the Great Wolves to the Great Wolf Lodge. And then once they arrive to the Great Wolf is the new notion of our Wolf Out campaign. So we launched our Wolf Out campaign last year, and with the Wolf Out campaign, the notion of this campaign is to understand what goes on at Great Wolf Lodge, meaning once you arrive to the lodge that you don't need to leave the lodge. We really want everyone to understand that we're a cruise ship on land. We have food and beverage offerings, we have retail and attractions offering, we have ropes course, mini golf, you name it, we have it inside. We don't want people to leave once they come in, even though they do. I know they visit you guys, Randy and John, I know. And so we were recognized from Ad Agency for this. We were #1 for it, meaning that we had the best intent for our ad campaign, meaning that we set out to do what we wanted to do. We wanted people to understand all that Great Wolf has to offer. And the commercials are in there. They're also on YouTube. Hopefully you guys can say that you've seen them, hopefully. This slide just shows our contribution to the Wolf Out campaign and what we did and the intent. So since launching it, we actually were able to grow 5% of awareness. We go from a YouGov to measure our awareness in marketing, and these are just the statistics of when it launched. You can see the green is when the campaign launched and how much it peaked up the awareness and the secessions from like our landing page online and everything. So just want to share where we started and where we've came. I've been with Great Wolf Lodge for 16 years, very long time, not only just during this PAC 2 years ago, but we started out in 2015 with just 12 lodges, and we were basically this regional brand. Now, in 2025, we have 23 lodges, and we are opening up our 24th lodge this year in Connecticut, and then we are also just broke ground in Nashville, Tennessee. So very exciting things and a lot of growth still to come. Perfect. So Jeanette's going to talk about our partnership and kind of what we've done, but a lot of that goes to a lot of things that you guys all expose us to, so thank you for that. We have a lot of fun participating in a lot of the community events and to be a part of all of them. My little kiddos are down there next to me for Gurnee Days, so always important to get out in the community, so please.
So a couple of events that we've attended to, we have the Navy partnership that we signed up for last year. With that partnership, we attend their events, 2 events at least a quarter. We attended their back to school event. We also attended their trunk or treat. As a lodge, we participated in the food bank. So we donated the food that we collected to the Warren Township. We also, for Lake County, we participated in the food pantry that's located in Highwood at St. James. We also do recruiting efforts with the Warren Township High School and the College of Lake County. We attend Gurnee Days. We sponsored the Gurnee Days Kids area during those days and also participated in the 4th of July. We did the Run from the Caps. We also participated in the Lake County Pride event. We had about 4 trunk or treats that we participated in last year, and then we also partnered with the Gurnee Mills for the Remembrance event that they had in May 18th. And then we also were partnerships with the Hilton Grand Vacation as well.
I'll share a little bit about the Hilton Grand Vacations. This is a national partnership at all of our Great Wolf Lodges. We have a Hilton Grand Vacations booth inside of all of our lodges now, and what that offers our guests is that they don't do any kind of sales pitch inside the resort, but they tell them if they're interested to learn more about what Hilton Grand Vacations does, is that they can actually book a 3 to 4 night stay anywhere at any Hilton Grand Vacation property for the price of X. And if they do that, they get a return stay at Great Wolf Lodge of up to $250 value. And that Grand Vacations Hilton actually pays us direct to return. It's been very successful. So we We actually don't have a fee for that, but we get the perks of them returning back for us. It's been a pretty good partnership. It's still developing. It's about 8 of our 23 lodges right now. Awesome. All right, I won't do the question section because I'm guessing it's going to be for you.
So Maureen, just actually from myself and then the village board can ask some questions as well. You still have some more presentation that you wanted to do or
We
no?
are completed.
So I just want to say that from the village board side is that we're all in a people business, right? And I think that to me, the people that we interact with, whether it's Maureen or the rest of the group here, it's been special for me and special for us. And just talking to staff, it just makes life enjoyable, you know, frankly. It's one thing to make money and to churn dollars here and there, but at the end of the day, if you don't have people to show for it, it just isn't worth a whole lot. So I just really thank you for that. It's partners, it really goes beyond partnership in a lot of ways. Puts a smile on my face when I see you guys, and that just means something as opposed to, oh, just another meeting to go to. So, Maureen, I just thank you for being the ringleader for doing what you do. And I always feel like we have a special in with Cheryl, since she's got the inside track and kind of lets us know what's going on. It's one of the best investments the village makes. We just don't have our eye or have the ability to have our eye on advertising for the big three like you do. So it's a great investment for us, and I'm sure that we'll continue that just for the years to come because it just pays great dividends for us. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's, you know, dollars are one thing, people are another. So thank you for making the effort to do what you guys do, to treat the residents and the visitors that come to Gurnee like you do. That's special. And first responders get to see a few of the guys that maybe you don't want in your place sometimes, but you know, that's unavoidable, right? We'll get those folks out and we'll just deal with the good people, right? So I think, I'm sure the board has some questions on all the things that came out. So if I start to my right?
I don't have any questions. I just absolutely loved all 3 presentations, so for County Marine. Thank you very much.
Trustee Torstenson?
Hi, I've got 2 questions. So the first one is, it did kind of surprise me, Maureen, that the food spend was $65. Is that down? Did it surprise you?
I think it's because it ends up being an average. So because I always look at that too and think that, I agreed. When I saw that, I was like, that seems low. And as I say to a board, whenever we show these dashboards, it's like, you know, you always come away from it going, I wonder what that means. But I think, like they say, it's because it's an average, that must just be what it is. And food actually is restaurants and grocery stores too, which is kind of interesting. So visitors going to grocery stores, again, it was visitors. So we have to look at it a little bit differently because a lot of our market is closer than 50-mile radius too. But the way this platform is built, that's what it's based on. But I think, and Ellen and I have talked about whether or not we might want to look at, you know, another different, you know, dashboard or some other kind of different visitor intelligence data in the future, which we might. So just because we always end up with some questions when we see that data.
Okay. The other question, I know I asked it last year, but I'm going to ask it, but then you guys can think about it, and so everybody else could ask their questions, and you could come back. Does that make sense? Or do you want me to just wait and be
No, you can ask your question. That's good.
So what can we do for you, each of you? What's on your wish list? What can we do that would spur an area of growth that is mutually beneficial, of course? So do you want to just think about that?
We might have to.
Because I'm sure, I don't want to eat up the time. I know they've got other questions.
Sure. We'll come back to that. If you guys have some thoughts at the end, that'd be great. Cheryl? No? You've seen these people before?
Yeah.
You can ask them questions when you're with them all by yourself. Trustee Woodside?
I've seen these people before, too.
Yeah.
Now, each one of you mentioned the value of partnership, and I just want to say that, you know, several of you have been in your positions have some longevity in your positions. Brianna, it's nice to see you and get to know you a little bit, but for John and Randy and Maureen, you've been doing this for a while and really have established such strong partnerships. And And I know that having worked with the police department, with each of you, and sitting from this perspective, it's really good to hear the outside perspective that you bring in, particularly you, John, around the country, how that relationship is not something to be taken for granted. And I know that we certainly don't take that for granted either. You bring such great value to the community, and you invest in the community in ways that go beyond what your core mission is. So I would just like to, on behalf of the board and just for myself, say thank you for that, and thank you for recognizing and acknowledging it and making it such an important part of what you do. And I really don't have a question, but I wanted to say that.
Trustee Bomas?
Oh, I do. So are we coming back with the holiday in the park now that you've managed to exist past the CEO of question?
Yeah, I wouldn't see it for 25 or 26 for sure. One of the big things was actually, it was around September, we cleared out an entire pole barn of a lot of our existing stuff, went out to our sister parks because it was just sitting there. It wasn't being used. We've used some here, but went to good use at a lot of our sister parks that were still doing that. It honestly came down to dollars. I love the experience. I advocated for that. I fought for it. I wanted to keep it going, and up until that last year, where we had a little drive-through going, a little walk-through going, and it just didn't turn the profit that it needed to. It was about cash flow. A lot of season pass attendants, a little too much in the mix. That doesn't bring cash to extending the operation to that end. So I hear that a lot, that they won't let you do it anymore. Corporate made you stop and all that. It was a local decision. It was. And I hear a lot of people will also say, well, the weather. If weather was 40 degrees every single day, it didn't do it. It just didn't get there. I'm seeing now a couple of the parks on the Cedar side tap out of that business. I think they're under some of the expense scrutiny that we were under for a lot of those years, and I think they had maybe a little bit of a luxury that they could afford to do kind of maybe a break-even event. They're getting out of it, and it says a lot. I think there's some markets in warm weather that can do it. I think it really comes down to the brand and the association with the rides, and it's not what that event was. You weren't coming in December to ride Raging Bull, and that's really the deep association with the brand of Six Flags and the roller coasters and the experience. You didn't get all the way there. The park was beautiful. We did everything we could. I was proud that we changed our pricing, we changed our communication, we changed the product. We did. So a lot of times we'll take a shot at an event and say, and we won't do it anymore. That we ran hard at it for 5 years, and it didn't get there. So I am always 31 years, 31 years, I know now, never say never. So I don't see it in the immediate future, but who knows beyond that as to where we may come around again. So that's the very long answer to your simple question.
Well, I can appreciate that, but it's kind of missed. But thank you also for giving us that for the mayor's, the outdoor stuff that we could use. So
Sure. Yep, definitely.
appreciate that too.
Definitely.
And I expect a special invitation for that 50th.
Done.
I worked that.
Yeah. I hear from so many.
Way.
Yep. I've seen the name tag even too, Quinn, right? And while I'm up here, I can answer the question. Really, to look for would be a partnership continuing on, and maybe some ideas to sit down and talk about the 50th. What it means to everybody in this room, what it means to, some constituents, perspective from residents that comes up and is voiced through this board, and what we can do. It's very nostalgic locally, for sure. A group came in and started talking a little bit about Chicago, and I said, not necessarily. I don't think so. We're not talking about the nostalgia. We're not necessarily Chicago's own. We are local. That's what everybody knows. That's what everybody grew up with. It means a lot. It means a lot of things to this community, for sure. So I'd look for some partnership on planning out the 50th anniversary and some different perspective. I told the group this morning, the good ideas come from everywhere. It's not about the dozen people gathered in that room. It's their extension into their divisions and departments and their families and their friends and whoever that might be. It come from everywhere. A guy that drives tractors around the park hauling dumpsters around comes to me constantly, and some of them are fantastic ideas. Some of them are a little out there, but others are great. So again, always ears open, eyes open, and listening and paying attention to what nostalgia means and what the park meant to them visiting 10 years ago or 30 or 50 years ago. So that's what I would look for most specifically, would be some partnership planning our big celebration in 2026. So I'll step back.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
So you can certainly, sorry. Okay, Cheryl.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment about the Visitors Bureau. Just had a strategic planning session last week, and so always forward-looking, always trying to find out what's going on all over, what can help us, and wonderful staff at Visit Lake County. So I just think that's important.
All right, we want to remain, you're going to rebut that? Is that what you're going to do?
Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I just have to say that I think what I see from the years I've been here is you never take your attractions for granted. You know, in other communities, I think you could be like, oh, they're here, they do a great job, we'll just leave them alone. Here, you're really proactively listening to them and supporting us as well, and that makes a big difference. I mean, you know what your identity is here. I mean, you're a family community, but you also are a huge tourism destination. So you're always constantly thinking about what can we do to kind of elevate that image, and that's why it's so great to work with Gurnee, because you are so proactive about that. And so for us, it's a wonderful partnership, not only with the village, but I mean, we have such a great relationship with our attractions. And I mean, I'm always marvel at, especially John, because he's our board treasurer. You know, John looks at our little finances every month and, asks questions about them and really keeps an eye on, and here he's running major parks. So I just really appreciate that and really appreciate Randy, and we'll miss him, can I say that? And it's been great to have Bree as well, and I wanted to mention that John McGuire is here from our team as well and does a great job with community engagement and with all of our promotions like a Flavor Fest. So it's just a really good partnership, and it all starts with the people and the relationships that we've built here through the years. So we appreciate you, and thank you so much. Anyone else have any more questions?
I think I was just going to get a picture with you guys.
Okay.
Probably the board
Sounds
would like
good.
to
Thank you.
come on down, and we could all get a picture with you guys.
I know.
You guys come down too?
I'm retired, I don't care.
Technically adjourn the meeting yet.
Jeannie likes to. That's Jeannie's job.
I know.
Make motion. Make motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Somebody second it?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Like it, so much, discontent.